Hey all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. And again, I'm sorry for the videos this week. I apologize. I had some dental work done, so I can't smile right. I'm trying my best here, so I apologize. And I appreciate you guys loving me, even though I'm not perfect, totally flawed here. I did want to start out our video series by letting you know, I let you know last week that we had merchandise coming in. So we have our little tote bag here. I have my book in it that I'm going to pull out and start reading to you guys from. It's a little tote, so you can see for reference the book fits in here, so you can stack a few books in there. And I do want to do a giveaway. So if you're watching this, the first person that emails me, please within the United States, because shipping gets a little expensive outside of the United States, I will mail you a free tote. So check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. You can find our contact information and submit it there. Like I said, the first person to contact for the tote will get the free one. You can also just submit a life balance questionnaire if you'd like to do an assessment, or you can just submit the contact form. The first consult is always free, and there's no obligation thereafter. If you're not the first person, which I assume by the time you watch this you may not be, you can go ahead and buy the totes. They're for sale on the site. We also have some tanks for sale, racerback tanks for women. They are, and I'm so annoyed with this, but they came like 2 sizes too small. So I'm an extra large girl, and that tank I'm gonna have to buy a 3XL. So I'm in the middle of looking for another vendor who has more true to fit sizes. But just let me know what size you normally wear, and I'll send you the right one, because I would prefer for it to fit. I don't really care about the label. And then also we have a Zazzle store, so there you can find everything from napkins with the Finding Yourself logo to a Zippo lighter to tennis shoes. Yes, tennis shoes. So check it out. It's in the link to this video, both the Finding Yourself store proper on my website, and that's where you'll contact for the free tote if you're the first one in and you're the lucky person, and the Zazzle store where you can just buy anything you're interested in buying for the Finding Yourself book club. I appreciate you guys, your support. I love your comments on YouTube, and this is just the way to keep the channel running. The life coaching is great. Unfortunately, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I just don't have time to take on as many clients as I would like. But you can get all of the content that you like here. More than 125 videos so far. This is, I think, the 127th video with my funky lip and all. So you can get a lot of the content for free and support us with some cool merchandise. So awesome. I will get off my soapbox and start talking about Dr. Gibson now. So again, free tote, first person that contacts me. Okay, today we're going to talk about Lindsay Gibson's Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. We've been talking about her 10 tips for how to reclaim your inner world, how to protect the right to your inner world. So when you have an EIP in your life, whether it's a parent or another person, they want your interactions, they want to deal with you as is convenient for them. And so Dr. Gibson is teaching us how to, once you've tried the proper methods, right, of conflict resolution and all of these things, how do we instead sidestep them and protect our right to our inner world? And in this chapter, we talked about how you may have even lost your connection with your inner world. And if that's the case, I mean, we want to work on rebuilding that. Give me 1 second. I would like to drink some coffee, and as embarrassing as it is, I don't want it slipping out the side of my mouth, so I will be right back. All right. Okay. So response number 1, claim your right to ignore them. Response number 2, suggest other ways to connect. Sometimes EIPs mock or tease you because they don't know how to make contact any other way. For instance, at a family reunion, Samantha's older brother, Rick, tried to connect as if they were both still in 5th grade. When he walked by her table, he thumped her on the head like he used to when they were kids. Instead of accepting his behavior, Samantha got up from the table and followed him. Touching Rick on the arm, Samantha said, "If you're glad to see me, How about telling me that instead of hitting me on the head? That'd be much better. Later, when Rick overheard Samantha talking about the color of her new car, he entered the conversation by asking, "What color is it?" "White," she replied. "Oh, like a toilet," he said with a mischievous grin. When he made the crack about her car, Samantha looked thoughtful, then said, "I think you're trying to connect with me, Rick. I'm really happy about my new car. Do you have some real questions about it?" Rick was caught off guard. There was an uncomfortable silence, and then Samantha turned her attention to someone else. Samantha no longer felt obligated to be a good sport about her brother's teasing. Whenever Rick tried to connect that way, she expressed her right to respectful treatment by not playing along. If Samantha had felt Rick was really trying to hurt her, she could have used more forceful responses. But she knew he was glad to see her. He just had no skills to say so. So I have heard other therapists talk about trying to see the intent behind the flawed behavior. And so in this case, Samantha could see that Rick wanted to connect. And so instead of responding, well, I guess she did respond, but what you can do is instead of responding to that negative behavior, you can respond to their intent. So if somebody makes some type of teasing remark, you can make a response like, "I understand you'd like to connect," or "I understand maybe you really missed me, or maybe you're happy to see me. I'm glad you're happy to see me. You're teasing me, so I know that means that you're happy to see me. I'm happy to see you too. What's new in your life?" So instead of like being offended by the teasing or responding or reacting to it in a negative way, you can respond to the intent behind it. You know that they're too immature to be vulnerable with you and tell you, "Hey, I'm really happy to see you. I really missed you." But you can say, "Hey, I'm really happy to see you and I really missed you. And I know you wouldn't be teasing me if you didn't feel the same way." So you can meet them. So a lot of times they tell us, right, meet them at their level, but you can kind of translate their negative behavior and try and see what they're trying to tell you with that behavior. It's just like, I don't know if you've heard, right, when the boy in school pulls the pigtails and the mom's like, "He's interested in you." So instead of going and pulling his pigtails back, right, he doesn't have them, but instead of doing something back, which would just kind of bring it down to their level, you can try and translate for them and kind of help them, especially if their attitude is not right. I mean, if their attitude is right in the sense that, they'd like to and they're somewhat genuine, but they're just stunted in the sense that they don't really know how. They don't know how to connect. And so I've dealt with people like that in my own personal life. And it does, right? I think you kind of get a flashback. I think you get thrown back. Samantha probably got thrown back into 5th grade when he thumped her in the head, or probably felt pretty devastated when he said that about her car that she was really excited about. And so it does, I mean, you're not going to be perfect. You're not always going to be able to respond in the way that you wish you did. But when you can, just try and see the intent behind their behavior and call it out, you know? It's this work is very hard, and I think I've said it in multiple videos. So if you don't get it right the first time, don't beat yourself up. Just do the best you can and keep going. If you read her previous book, and we've talked about it in the Finding Yourself book club, a lot of her previous book, it was starting in chapter 8 where she said, you can do a strategy such as counting to see how long they're going off on this thing this time. So there's a lot of different strategies that you can use. I personally feel, even though I've read this book 100 times, I personally feel that I need to kind of go back and study it, because when I get in the interactions, right, it's easy here and talking to each other and making plans and all this stuff in our head. But when I get in an interaction with an EIP, it's very hard. And oftentimes I will revert back. And I don't know how you react, but I just shut down. And I want to get the hell out of there. So don't beat yourself up. I think keep working at it. And if you have health insurance and you have a therapist, work with your therapist on it. I think that's really great. If you want to talk to me about it, send us an email, submit a contact form, or even just ping through the website and we can chat. But keep working on it and don't give up even when you make a mistake, or if you react poorly, like if he's like your car is the color of a toilet and you respond with something like a fifth grader yourself, like, your face looks like a toilet. That's okay. And you don't have to be perfect. And sometimes you can tease to be at their level. Instead of maybe calling them out and saying, oh, I know that you really want to connect, you can just tease them back and enjoy it and enjoy the interaction. And you don't always have to be so mature yourself, Sometimes just let loose and have a little fun. I think Dr. Gibson is really trying to help us because oftentimes these interactions leave us feeling hurt. And so when you do feel hurt, that's when you kind of want to try and use a different strategy. And sometimes maybe you just want to play their games and have a little bit of fun and let yourself kind of dumb down for those few hours when you're at the family reunion or whatever, and realize that even though you're not connecting with them as you would like, you're still making a valuable connection in the sense that you're connecting with them on their level. And so you are building something. It may just not be that strong emotional connection that you would desire. And that's where it's really important for you to build up your own group that you can build that strong emotional support and connection with. So if you have a group of friends that can reciprocate, maybe your romantic partner, one thing that Gibson talks about is that when you're initially finding a romantic partner and you've been raised by EIPs, most likely you're going to partner with someone who's an EIP. And you will hear lots of different therapists talk about how you will match with somebody who's on your same emotional level. So just be real careful, assess yourself, assess your partner, but ultimately your goal is to be with somebody who can be supportive, who can reciprocate, and who you can build a strong emotional connection with. If you're looking for tips on romantic relationships, we do have an entire playlist on John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. I highly recommend that one. It was life-changing for me. He has a million great works. You can also just find him on the Gottman Institute and subscribe to his podcast, where you'll get an email twice a week called Small Things Often. An email that's called The Marriage Minute, but then at the bottom of it, it links to a podcast called Small Things Often, and that's where you get little tidbits of information on how to improve your romantic relationships. But also our playlist goes really deep into that book. What Makes Love Last, how do you build trust and avoid betrayal, and then also how do you repair relationships if there is some type of betrayal that happens. So thanks for spending time with me. I'm excited about that first person that submits that contact form for the free tote bag. And then if you want to buy them, we have the package deal. So we have the totes and the tanks as a package, and that'll save you just a little bit of money. And like I said, I'm working on getting that true to size fit line so that we don't have more issues with that having to buy 2 sizes above. Tell you this, just submit your measurements and we'll do it that way, because I really don't want to mail you the wrong thing. So y'all take care. Have a great week. Thank you for dealing with my funky smile this week, and we'll talk soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.